So let's talk about your success as a captive agent with State Farm for the first 6. What did that look like?
So in the
This is
beginning,
permission to brag on yourself. Okay.
yeah, in the beginning, it was like, so I had just had also my second child 3 weeks before I opened my doors. So I was that woman, the baby carrier, like rocking and answering the phones. I had no idea how to put people on hold. Like we did not know what we were doing. It was
Wow.
horrible. But luckily, me and my team were great with sales. I had a lot of connections with the community, and we just tapped into who do we know, and we're from Las Vegas. So that's always been ingrained in our heads, right? Like shake hands, make connections. It's all about who you know. Well, we started getting at the top of all the reports for our territory, and I was just following the carrot that was put in front of me. And I'm like, okay, we have to sell all the products because they do financial services. At the time, they did mortgages,
Yeah, banking. Yeah.
they did all, yeah, life, health, all the things, and then very heavy on personal lines. And with time, I started getting a lot of referrals because of my connections, my family, just being in this town for so long and seeing it grow for commercial. And
Hmm.
my team was like, we are not doing this. This is so complicated. We don't have a lot of options for people. We were sending a lot of business out the door. And I was like, we don't give up. One of our core values is being relentless. We do
Mm.
not give up, and we will find the answer. We will look for it. We'll research. We don't just say, sorry, it's too hard. We're not doing it. So we got really good at the commercial we could write. And we were sending millions of dollars a year to a broker, friends, what have you in the industry. And
Jeez.
I would say around year 5, I was starting to feel that burnout. I was starting to realize, like, okay, we're selling, we're at the top of all the reports, we're doing what State Farm wants. If we keep doing this, they say that we're going to make all this money. And it's not that we didn't. I had a $5 million book at that time. We were selling, we were growing, had great bonuses at the end of the year. But again, I was like, this is
Yeah.
not what I started my business for. I'm doing this for them, and I'm not really being intentional with what do I want? What does a day for me look like? What do I really want from life? And I sat down and spent probably about 2 months just really not in the office and thinking about what I wanted. And I wrote it all out, and I kind of vision casted, and I said, okay, I only want to work these hours, and this is what I want to be doing. And what does my team also want to achieve individually, each of them? And how do I use that to motivate them to even do more? And I started working one-on-one with them on deeper connections and really finding out what's important to them, because as I've
Yeah.
seen success, I want to make sure they're successful as well. And we decided we were going to take an appointment with an independent broker and some people and start doing that research I did for State Farm at the time. And when we realized we sent that last year about $2 million in business out the door, I was like, I don't like this. And
Wow.
we really enjoyed commercial. We started loving it. It was more interesting. We got to see businesses thrive and how they've moved into bigger stages in their businesses. We get to visit them, better conversations, more interesting, higher policies, premiums, all the things, right? They pay their bills on time, they answer when you call. Like it was
Mm.
a whole different dynamic. And I'm like, oh, wow, we can sell $100,000 in one policy for premium. And we'd have to write 100 to 150 vehicles for personal lines to do the same thing. What are we doing? What's the, like, if we don't love it, right? So um,
Yes.
that's when we made the jump. I walked away from my $5 million book and all the bonuses, and people thought I was crazy. I was probably one of the first people in town to leave captive agency and not being forced to leave, right? I didn't do anything
Mm.
wrong. There was no canceling of my business on their end. And a lot of people have left since. And I think there just needed to be someone that was like, this isn't for me. I'm not doing it. It doesn't feel right with me. I'm not aligned with this anymore. I'm ready to move on to big and better. And in the first year, we wrote 50% of what we had left. I had
Wow.
two salespeople. I still only have two salespeople and one service
Wow.
person. And we do about 200 to 500,000 a month in premium with 3 employees. So
That's
Been a
awesome.
ride ever since. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and
And
we love it.
wow. Okay. So I want to get to something else in a little bit. There's a few other things you said I want to touch on, but I'm going to wait. So then you went independent.
Mhm.
What were some of those struggles from going to captive, from captive to independent initially?
Yeah. So the biggest struggle was we had to learn not just one system, right? We had to learn 20 direct carriers for the personal lines and some commercial, because we still do personal lines, but it's really usually just our business owners, the stuff that they need. And understanding that each carrier has its own appetite, own competitive rates, its own things that we had to relearn. And when you're now quoting through all these systems as opposed to just one that you were very well, you knew really well, right? We almost kind of
Yes.
rebirthed in a way. We had to learn how to walk again.
Yes.
And we just made it happen. We're relentless. We didn't quit. And even when my team complained, or even when they were like, we can't get this done, like, all right, we have to have solutions. You don't come to me with a problem unless you have some option for us to try. So eventually, I have one team member that picks up systems really quickly. So they became the owner to learn all that and to teach the rest of us and create those SOPs and the screenshots and the outlines and the word tracks and whatever we needed to be able to all catch on. I had another person that was really great with data and tracking, and we learned to do some automations. And so we were able to maximize everyone's efforts.
Mm,
And it was great because we could then use any system we wanted, where with State Farm, you can only use what they offer and they don't allow you to do a lot of things. So that's how we kind of solved some of those issues we were having in the beginning, was by bringing on some different softwares that we thought were going to help us not need to hire more, not need to do as much work. And then I would say the other struggle is really, now you have one underwriter for each carrier. And if you don't have a good relationship with them, they are not going to get back to you. They are not going
mm,
to quote your business. They're not going to try to win that business with you. So it's really a partnership. And
wow.
if you don't have a good relationship with your underwriter, so that's how we started working, is really just being wonderful to our underwriters, creating and cultivating those relationships. And now they tell us, when we see your email come across, we get to you first before everyone, because you close 75% of the stuff that we send you. And we know we're not going to waste our time. And so that's been a huge help. I can't send them, that much business if I'm not closing it on my end. So they trust us and we
Yes.
trust them to really help us package the quotes and all the things that we need. Learning to work with supplemental, or, our GAs or certain carriers that are not direct, was the struggle. And once we figured out what to do there, everything took off. So
Mm,
that was probably the two biggest things. After that, we had the experience. We knew what we were doing. So that was great. And I always tell people, if you were successful in captive, you will kill it in independent,
that's nice.
100%, because it's harder and here
Yeah.
it's easier. So yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. If you love this video, I got another one that you're going to love. I got a video just to your right here. Click on that. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And I'll see you there.
I do a lot of direct mail, so
Okay.
but I do it a little bit differently. This
Yep.
is going to be more of a Thai thing for sure, but I don't even call them. I don't
Wow.
even call them.